beautiful being. Welcome back to my channel, Rising with Rachel. I am Rachel, and together we rise and talking about all things cosmic and consciousness. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as it really does help the silly little earth algorithm that we have to participate in. As much as I don't want to be a part of that, I do want to be a part of spreading the messages that the collective needs right now in order to raise consciousness, so that we can not only live in, but create the heaven on earth that is our birthright, that we are born here to live. If you're watching this video, just know that you are on the front lines with me during the spiritual revolution that is happening on earth during this time, anchoring in these light codes that are needed to embody the new earth that earth always planned to be all along. So thank you for being here with me. I see you, I honor you, I love you. Now let's get into it. The reason you haven't manifested your desires is because you are attached to them. You see, the way this universe works actually is that the second we have a desire, our desire is already manifested. It just exists on a parallel timeline in a different reality than the one that we are currently experiencing. But we have, because we are the creators of our own universe, of our own reality, right? We have the ability to change our timeline to the reality that our manifestations exist on. And it all happens through curating your own individual frequency. When you focus on your frequency, when you focus on doing the inner work, when you focus on feeling good, when you focus on letting go of your desired outcome, when you do all of these little things that help amp up your own vibration, that is how you collapse the timeline between the timeline you're on now and the timeline you're trying to be on. But what happens as humans, we see our manifestations, our desires, as something existing outside of us, as something that we put on a pedestal, as something that we desire, that we want, right? And want has an attachment to it, because when you want something, you need it in a way, right? Like you are needing this thing in order to fulfill this certain hole that whatever it is you're trying to fill, that this manifestation will complete. But when you start to complete those holes within yourself through doing your own inner work, whatever that looks like for you, and really alchemizing what it is that is in your vibration that is causing you to be separate from your manifestations, then you become one with your manifestations, and then they show up at your doorstep faster than ever. The quicker you start doing the work, before you know it, you're going to be entered into a completely different reality where all of your manifestations are not only happening so much faster, but probably instantaneously. The attachment is what keeps you separated from your manifestations. The second that you desire something, like I said, it's already done. So the second you have that desire, you need to let it go to the universe and understand that it is already on its way to you. In fact, you should probably be focusing on the next thing. Like, understand that the second you tell the universe, I want a white BMW, is the second that that white BMW has been manifested in a different timeline. And depending on what actions you take, and that includes your own inner healing, right? What physical actions you take, but also internal actions you take towards your own thoughts, feelings, belief systems. That is what dictates the speed of which that manifestation comes to you. But you can't sit and wonder every day, where is my white BMW, and focus on the lack. When you are focused on the attachment to the desire, you are sitting in a place of lack, because what you're doing really is essentially telling the universe that you are not okay without whatever it is you're trying to manifest. And when you show the universe you are not okay and that you need something in order to survive, girl, the universe is not going to give it to you, because why would it do that? Okay, the universe is tough love. The universe is going to give it to you when you are in a place that you are okay with or without the thing. The universe is not going to give you shortcuts to this, right? What good would it be if a father figure in your life was trying to teach you the skill of being resourceful to go ahead and buy you fish for dinner instead of giving you a fishing pole and a boat to get in the middle of the lake and saying, go figure out how to do it yourself, right? Then when you catch that fish yourself, not only are you going to be so proud of your accomplishments and realize that you did that, but you're going to understand that you can do it again and again and again and again. Abundance is your birthright. The universe wants to give you everything that you desire, but you have to be operating from a place where you not only know that you are the creator of your own reality, and that the second you desire something, it's already yours. And in order to bridge the gap between having it right now and right now, is that you have to be doing the inner work and energetically align with whatever it is that you desire. The universe is waiting to give you everything that you desire, but it's up to you to switch your vantage point on what it is that you're seeing as well. I recently saw a video talking about quantum physics and how there is about 10 to 14 billion bits, pieces, cellular structure of information that are around everyone at any given time, right? Essentially your energy field. But as humans, we are only able to pick up 40 to 100 bits of this information at one time. In the same way that there is way more colors that exist in the universe than we can see, but the human eye only allows us to see what is the color spectrum that we know of. It's hard to envision a color that you have never seen, right? Because it's the only thing that you can see. Which now related to manifestation, if you have only existed in environments that breed lack and insecurity, and yes, we're going to go back to childhood, right? Because that's essentially where everything ties back to. If you have been conditioned to only see lack, that is the 40 to 100 little bits that you are picking up on. Even though there's 10 to 14 billion bits of information around you, the only 40 to 100 you're focusing on is lack. But when you start to change your perspective and you start to do that inner work and work on your own energy field, your belief systems, your feelings, your thoughts, that's when you start to switch gears and start to say, hey, yes, I know that the lack somewhere exists in this 10 to 14 billion bits of information, but that's not what I'm choosing to see. What you want to do is, instead of focusing on this lack, switch that vantage point to say, hey, yes, I know duality exists. I know that there are some things that are less than favorable that exist in energy fields, period, because the universe needs duality. We need the contrast to be able to figure out what it is that we do want through the ways that we don't want it. But look at the 10 to 14 billion bits of information around me. That in itself is evidence of abundance. So I'm going to choose to make my vantage point an abundant one, therefore changing the 40 to 100 little particles that I'm focusing on from lack to abundance. And then when you start to focus on that, when the color spectrum you're looking at is more positive, is a higher vibrational one, then because of the law of attraction and the way the universe works, your manifestations and the things that you desire are going to start showing up at your doorstep in such rapid, miraculous ways, in ways that you never could have even conceived possible. But again, it's your attachment to that lack. It's your attachment to those 40 to 100 particles that is saying, of course this didn't work out for me. Of course this person betrayed me. Of course this person talked behind my back. Of course this job doesn't treat me right. When you are only focused on the attachment to what is, you cannot tap into your imagination to what could be. You know, one of the biggest keys to manifestation is feeling the feelings that you will have when you receive your manifestations and your desires now. Right? Because essentially you are tapping into that future version of yourself that already has it. Because like I said, the second you desire something, it's already yours, just on a different timeline. So when you feel the feelings of what you would have current moment in the present, then you are essentially embodying your future timeline now. And that helps the sand that is funneling down, which are your desires through this 3D matrix, this denser reality, happen faster. It's not possible to tap into that future version of you, that higher timeline that already exists, if you are only focused on what's here right now. Because your vibration is your signal to the universe right now. If you are only focused on the things that are going wrong and the things that you don't want that are happening right here, right now, then that is a signal that you're sending out to the universe, because your attention is your energetic currency. And if your attention is focused on what is not, then your attention cannot be focused on what will be. It's like having horse blinders on. If you are like this at all the things that are going wrong, you cannot go like this to all the abundance that is already on its way to you. At the end of the day, you don't even know what is best for you. You can think that you do, but ultimately the universe is what knows. So don't be so stuck on the desired outcome of whatever it is you are trying to manifest. Release the desire to the universe and let it go from there. Like I said, focus on the next thing. After you tell the universe you want your white BMW, focus on the yacht that you want to get. By doing this and focusing on just the next thing, you are practicing also the law of assumption. You assume that you're going to get it, as you should, because like I said, it's already yours. Now the universe is just going to fast track that manifestation to you, because you're on to the next and on to the next and on to the next. You're not attached to the desired outcome of how it gets into your reality, who brings it into your reality. When you're focused on the specifics, it's like watching paint dry. You're sitting there every second being like, is it dry yet? Is it dry yet? Is it dry yet? When in reality, if you just went to go cook a meal, read a book, go watch a YouTube video or something, and you came back in 3 hours, the paint would be dry. It would already be in your reality. Stop trying to one-up the universe, okay? It knows what's best for you better than you know what you think might be best for you. Start practicing the law of assumption and start releasing your attachment to your manifestation. Show the universe that you are okay and that you are only focused on the right here, right now, and just making yourself better in this moment. I know earlier I said you can't focus on what is in order to get to where you want to be, but I don't mean it in that sense of don't focus on making yourself better right now. I meant don't focus on the lack that's currently in your reality. Don't focus on the missing manifestations in your current experience. Focus presently right now on how do I get around the feelings of lack you want to focus on in the now moment is the feelings that arise for you when you notice the lack that is in your present reality. You don't want to focus on the lack that is currently happening, the lack of whatever it is you desire. So be present, yes, but don't be present with the frequency of the problem. Be present with the frequency of the solution. Be present in the frequency of being better. And by being better, by being healthier, by taking care of yourself, eating better food, reading a book, allowing yourself to relax, not getting so stressed driving on your way to work, or allowing yourself to get stressed out at work or through small conflict. Those are little ways that you are curating your vibration. You are raising your frequency and becoming an energetic match to the frequency of the solution and not the problem. Like I said, that's when you start to become an empty vessel for cosmic God, source, whatever you want to call it, to plant these new seeds and ideas into your brain so that you can eventually start taking action. Inspired action is going to open up so many doors for you and allow those manifestations to come forward and out of vibrational escrow. But like I said, start doing this by focusing on the feelings that arise for you when you in real time notice that lack. When you are frustrated at your job and you notice that you are not living the life that you know is inherently yours, that is your birthright, that abundant career, that is a soul-filled purpose. When you feel those lower vibrational feelings of, God, this sucks, why am I not there yet? And you start to go down your own cycles of shame, frustration, anger, whatever it is, that's the opportunity to choose differently, to pick a different vibration, to literally consciously decide where you are standing on the emotional scale, which is then tied to a specific frequency, right? If you are feeling those feelings of lack that are lower vibrational in those moments, choose to say, but you know what? I have a job. I'm paying rent. I'm able to eat dinner. I'm able to provide food for my pets. Raise your vibration with new thoughts when confronted with those feelings. That is how you do the work. That is doing the inner work. That is shadow work. It's noticing your shadows. And in order to notice your shadows, you have to be present in your body. You have to understand when these feelings arise and stop distracting yourself and really sit in your way of being. And even though it's absolutely uncomfortable, allow yourself to rewire your conscious brain. Choose you so thoroughly to the point that you are willing to face your demons, because your demons, once they become your friends, are ultimately the doorways that help you step into your future, right? Your demons are the ones that open the door and say, you know what? Your time is up. Good job. We're proud of you. On to the next. Trust me, I get it. This stuff is deep. It's multi-layered. It's multi-dimensional. It is a lot to dig through, but you deserve to dig through it because you deserve to live your best life right here, right now. And you deserve to look back on your life and say, I did everything that I wanted to. I created the heaven on earth that I always knew in my heart was mine and that my soul knew I was incarnated to create in order to live it right here during this earthly lifetime. To be honest, we trace this all back to childhood, which is why this stuff is so deeply complex and multi-layered and multi-dimensional. And you really have to understand these things and come to new awarenesses about the same topics, about the same realms over and over again, until this knowledge really becomes wisdom that seeps into your cellular structure and becomes something that you believe and something that you embody instead of something that you just know. If you grew up in a household with a lot of siblings, your parents might not have had enough time to be able to focus in on specifically you. His mom had to run out for groceries and take care of your baby brother, and your dad had to support the family of 6 kids. They might not have had enough attention to be able to give to you. They took care of you, yes, but because our brains essentially are in theta states until we're around 7 years old, we are taking things very personally. We are understanding mom and dad's lack of attention as, okay, now this is something that is creating lack within my life, which means because I'm a kid interpreting this in theta state and very personally instead of vibrationally as it truly is, I'm going to internalize this as I'm not enough to give attention to. And that sense of lack is a belief system that is created around that age and ripples out throughout multiple different realms of your life. You might end up in relationships where the person is mistreating you because you don't have a proper sense of self-value, because back to childhood, again, your parents didn't give you enough attention. So you'll seek validation of the ugly cousin instead of actual love. In the case of your manifestations, and probably also around things like money, you are going to experience that as a lack of there being enough for you at all in this universe. You're going to think that there is not enough for you, that this is not a reality that you can possibly live. Our attachments are created in order to keep us safe because it's trying to keep us in what we know. Even if that environment is not productive and prosperous and healthy for us, our brain fears change. So it wants to stay comfortable. But when you realize these things and you step into these awarenesses, you get to decide to choose to be uncomfortable in order to create the life that is yours. Your manifestations are on the other side of yourself. Your attachments, like the ones you have to your manifestations, are directly connected to your belief systems. And your belief systems are something that is curated from those childhood states, which is why it's so important to really dig deep and ask yourself the really hard questions. Okay, I believe there's not enough money in the universe for me. Why do I believe that? Is it because I grew up poor? Is it because I grew up rich and watched my family lose all of their money? Is it because I saw my parents working really hard like there was never enough? Is it the news that I grew up watching constantly showing me a world of lack and that there's not enough of anything? Is it the politics that I hear about all the time? You have to start getting to the source of your beliefs. And when you start getting to the source of your beliefs, then you can rewrite them. Then you can change the script and alchemize the energy that is there and turn it into what it is that is truth, which is that you are abundant. The universe exists in abundance. The universe doesn't have lack. The universe has contrast, but the universe does not have lack. When you start to change these scripts, that's when you're going to start to see it ripple in big ways in your life. All of a sudden, when you narrow down that because your family was poor growing up and you were faced with a lot of lack, that does not mean that that is the truth, that there is room for you to grow in the realm that you want to and be this conscious content creator and be a millionaire and live a life that doesn't require a lot of work like you saw your parents doing when you were younger. That's when it becomes possible for you because you are changing your belief system. And when you change your belief systems, you also rewire the thoughts that follow those belief systems, the feelings that follow those thoughts. It's like the question of the chicken and the egg and what happened first. Your thoughts create feelings and your feelings create thoughts, but it all stems essentially from your belief system. So again, in terms of your manifestations, when you look at your attachment to what it is that you want and you say, okay, is it that I feel like I will not have enough? Is it the lack that I feel when I think about not having this desire? Where does that lack come from? If I know that there is abundance for me, then let me rewire this thought and say, okay, lack, I feel you. I'm driving to this job that I don't really love right now. So yes, I'm feeling the lack. I'm feeling the frustration, but universe, I know that you're abundant. I know that there is more for me out there. Therefore, changing your feeling about this lack in the present moment, which then is going to, because of the law of attraction, bring thoughts of the same energy into your brain and say, you know what? There is abundance around me and the universe is going to give you evidence to support that. So more thoughts are going to come like, oh yeah, you know what? I am able to eat dinner tonight and I do have a roof over my head and I have pets that love me. And then the feelings of gratitude and appreciation are going to flood their way into you because again, law of attraction, everything that is in resonance one another will vibrate with one another and find their way to one another like a magnet, therefore allowing you to raise your own vibration, therefore allowing you to be this empty vessel for the universe to deliver more thoughts, more ideas, more actions to take that will allow you to bridge the gap between your manifestation, your desire, and where you are right now. It's up to you. You have to be the ones to get your hands dirty in the soil of your soul in order to alchemize your life and to really become the creator and allow these manifestations to come through. Imagine your manifestations are knocking at your front door right now and you have headphones and listening to music. That is what you are doing when you are focused on the lack of what is instead of being present with what is and working around your feelings and your thoughts around what's in front of you, alchemizing them and giving them love and nourishment that they need, the attention that they need, figuring out where they came from in order to nourish those aspects of yourself. Therefore, opening that front door and saying, there you are. You've been waiting for me. Here I am not hearing multiple knocks at the door thinking that you were never coming when in reality, you have been standing here this entire time. So obviously give yourself grace during this process, right? It is through awareness that we find alignment. You don't know what you don't know until you know it, but now you know it. So now you have no excuse. The reason that your manifestations aren't happening in your reality is because of your attachment to them. So what are you going to do about it? What ways are you going to show up for yourself today and try to figure out where your attachments lie, where they stem from, how to nourish them, how to help them, how to alchemize them, how to listen to them, how to give them what it is that they need so that they can literally transform on a cellular basis and become something different, something higher vibrational that allows you to step into the truth of who you are, which is that abundant light being. There's a million ways to do this work: EFT tapping, journal work, meditation. But right now, just focus on letting go. When you notice that feeling of lack, of insecurity, of instability, of fear come up within you, take it for what it is in that moment and just say, I'm okay. Acknowledge it. Say, fear, I see you. I know you're trying to keep me safe, insecurity, whatever feeling, but I'm okay. I'm safe. I don't choose to think this way. I'm going to choose to think and align with what my soul knows is true, that this is all happening for me, that abundance is my birthright, that what I want is on its way to me. I release you to the cosmos to be incubated in a sea of cosmic love, and I don't resonate with you anymore. I let you go. And at the same time, I also let go of my desired outcome to my manifestation, because I'm practicing the law of assumption, and I know that what I want is inherently mine, and that the second that I want it, it's created in vibrational escrow, and I'm going to focus on feeling good right now so that I can allow it to come out of vibrational escrow and into my reality. At the same time, I'm focused right here, right now on feeling what's good for me. I'm also focused on the next thing, and I'm not focused on what I don't see in my reality right now. I'm focused on what is already on its way to me. I recently saw an exercise that is perfect for this topic, and it's essentially creating something called a God box or a spirit box, universe box, whatever you want to call it. And what you do is you create this box, and every time you have a desire, you write it down on a piece of paper and you put it in the box and you forget about it. Every time you have a thought about this desire, about this manifestation that you want, you take a deep breath and you say, okay, I notice this desire that arises within me. I notice the feelings that are coming up for me right now. However, I release them because I already put this in my spirit box, my universe box, my God box. I released my desire to the universe. So therefore, I already know it's on its way to me. It simply has no other choice. Therefore, in this moment, I'm going to let it go and understand it's already on its way, and change your thought to something else. Think, okay, I have to go grocery shopping. I have to make my bed. It's time to go to work. You release your attachment to the noticing of the lack of what it is you are trying to manifest. You say, I give it up to the universe. I release my attachment to it. I don't know how, when, who, what, where, when, why it's going to come, but I know it's on its way. So let me focus on the next thing. Like I said, law of assumption. But to end this, just know that anything you are not changing, you are choosing. So don't get stuck in a cycle of lack and not doing anything about your current reality, what it is that you are feeling and experiencing around your lack of your desires, your manifestations, and then be upset that the universe is not delivering your manifestations. Like, if we're not giving your 110% of your awareness and your energy to living a better life and curating your own frequency and really stepping into the truth of who you are and doing the shadow work of learning how to let go and doing the hard, difficult things, then the universe isn't going to give you what it is that you want, right? Like I said, it's not buying you a fish for dinner. It's giving you the fishing rod and the boat. And in fact, it might not even be doing that. It's probably just giving you directions to the fishing pole and the boat so that you can start to accumulate these different tools, these new awarenesses, these new mindsets, belief systems, thoughts, feelings, so that you can all of a sudden put the pieces together, get yourself onto that lake and catch your own fish. Just remember that your desires, your manifestations are your birthright. They are supposed to be birthed into your reality. It's a matter of you being the one to allow them in. So show up for yourself and be willing to notice that you have headphones on, take the headphones out, realize that what you have been wanting your entire life is literally on the other side of your door, that you just had to open it. Simple as it is, it's also extremely difficult. So give yourself grace along the way, and just know that you would not be able to envision or feel so intricately dreams and desires unless they were already yours. That's why they are planted into your heart and into your brain and into your imagination, because the universe wants to show you that it is possible to receive what it is that you want. In fact, it's already happened, that you just have to be the one to bridge that gap and allow them in and make them happen. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope I'm able to shed any light, plant any seeds of consciousness that bloom on the right time and the divine time that they are supposed to. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this work, because as you take care of yourself, you also take care of the collective. So thank you. I see you. I honor you. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.